I'm here to confess and to state out loud that the overrated filmmaker and film I'm here to talk about today is Terrence Malick.
I want to know what you are.
I think he is a 2 or 3 trick pony, and he hasn't really evolved as a filmmaker since his return in 1998 with The Thin Red Line and all that. And not that he's not good at what he does, and not that he's not good at his 2 or 3 moves, in my opinion, but he's overrated. In the same way that we nitpick a guy like Michael Bay.
What I try to do is, as a director, I try to
for being the hyperkinetic editing and the mayhem of shots, and we always say he only has 2-3 moves, and he does them all day long, all the time, and it just happens to be in really cheesy blockbuster films. I hate to tell you, Terrence Malick has the same 2-3 moves in his poetry of films, and he does it every time.
Can't put the pieces together.
Help each other.
They're gorgeous films. They look great, but for me, they don't go anywhere. Or they don't go anywhere enough to justify the beauty on hand. Like, I can do a pretty picture and have a pretty picture, but to what end is always my question when I get out of a Terrence Malick film. I feel like when he has a story that requires him to have a bit of a script or have a beginning or an end, it works. Like The Thin Red Line. He has something in mind. Now, it wanders and it has its dalliances and all that, but
Days of Heaven.
Sure. I mean, he's bound by a story that's got a beginning, a middle, and an end. Even a little bit of The New World. He's at least confined to talking about the history of which he's on. The straws that broke my back for handling Terrence Malick were The Tree of Life and Knight of Cups.
Yeah. So
how were they for you?
It's funny. Like, when I saw The Tree of Life, I liked it.
Okay.
But I could see where he was going to be going with every single other film after that.
Yeah.
You started to see Terrence Malick get a little high on his own supply.
That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah. Like, he definitely started to get way into the inner monologue of the characters.
Yep.
He's starting to get into all those elements that are extremely pretentious.
Nothing is so terrible as a pretentious movie. I mean, a movie that aspires for something really terrific and doesn't pull it off is shit. It's scum.
And that's fine for that movie. Like, the funniest thing is, I thought the Cosmo sequence in that movie was the best sequence of that film, which could have stood out as a movie in and of itself. It connected to the story of how life begins and ends, and it connects to Brad Pitt and his children. And it was like, yeah, it was a far-fetched way to do it.
That's a very far-fetched way to do it.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. If you cut the Cosmo sequence out of Tree of Life, that's a film I could tolerate, because even though I feel like it's the most intricately edited PowerPoint slideshow you'll ever have in your life.
Welcome to the planetarium. We're going on a fascinating ride through the universe, so I want you to lean back in your chairs and get comfortable.
This is stupid.
It just happens to be merged with a film. Because, like, oh, look, we're having this moment where we're thinking about something as a human. Here's a tree. Oh, look, we're having this beautiful moment where we're thinking about something, that makes me sad, or think about my dad. Oh, here's a tree. Or, oh, look, here's another thing that makes me feel bad. Here's the sky. Here's a waterfall.
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. Well, but the dinosaurs are a huge, crazy vacation. Like, even though the Cosmo sequence is brilliant and beautiful on its own, cut that out and you leave yourself with just this 1950s story being remembered a little bit by Sean Penn, and you have the weird little flashes of natural imagery. I can handle that. The movie would be 40 minutes shorter. It'd be paced a little bit better. That would speak to more poetry, like we were saying before. But once you put all of that together and then ask yourself to care, I can't. Because you're right. It's Angry Dad, and guess what? We all had an angry dad. Boo-hoo. If you're gonna do a daddy issue movie, and you're going to do it in an artful way, you nailed it with Tree of Life. Do I need to keep seeing it by the time we have Knight of Cups? No, I don't.
No.
Stop with the daddy issues. Stop with the brother issues. Stop with the dead sibling issues. Just, that's the thing. I'm not seeing artistic creativity, or I'm not seeing variety anymore out of the guy. If you're going to do this poetry with curtains and drapes and fawning over beautiful women and whatever navel gazing we want to call all that stuff that Terrence does. Are you really going to do that every single movie? If this was any other director doing the same tricks, so to speak, I'm going to do too many air quotes, but if we see the same director doing the same tricks or the same tropes, we would nail him to the wall for it.
He's becoming a parody of himself in a way.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Michael Bay has become a parody of himself, or even I thought Inland Empire was sort of a parody of David Lynch's own work.
Sure.
Where he actually made that film, I think, without a script as well. And, you know, with Tree of Life, that worked for that particular picture because it's not supposed to be a linear film with a clear purpose or anything like that. It's just supposed to be an experience, a feeling of going through memories. You know, and all his movies sort of did that before with the monologues and looking back on life.
Yeah,
and
I can handle wistful voiceovers.
Yes.
To a point.
Yeah.
You know.
But then when you do it every single film,
it's
lazy.
I never know exactly what Terry's going to shoot because he's not working from a script or storyboards. He tells us more about the characters of the story than sort of physical things that he wants.
After a while, we understand that he likes to use a lot of shots with a long lens that goes around his subjects on a steady cam and gives you this otherworldly, dreamlike sort of feel. But at a certain period of time, you walk into a film, you know what you're going to see, which is why I didn't see Knight of Cups, which is why I didn't see Song to Song, because I said, well, I know exactly what I'm going to walk into. I'm not obligated to see it, so I'm not going to see it.
Sure. I would love to be a fly in the wall in that editing room because that's the other thing. You have such a talented cinematographer most of the times with Lebesky, and he's phenomenal, and he's won awards for his full-bodied, long-take, exceptionally rich work. And you get a Malick film, and he chops it to pieces.
And actually, a lot of times we'll shoot the same scene in several different places. I guess that might be his way of editing it. If he doesn't like something, he just won't use that one. He'll use the other one.
Yeah. I mean, what's the shot length in a film like Tree of Life? 6-8 seconds tops.
Yeah. Everything.
Everything seems it's so just chopped. Like anything that you think would have enough time to resonate and breathe because it is poetry, because there's a voiceover, because there's these really pretty decent performances. As soon as you think you can watch something linger, we cut to one of those naturalistic things, and it takes me out. It ruins the moment.
There are two ways through life. The way of nature and the way of grace.
What does it mean?
Sure.
You know, I know Terrence Malick wants to leave it open to interpretation, but I just imagine Terrence Malick seeing a landscape and going, oh, that looks pretty, let's film it.
But take a look at other films that we put on that level as being open for interpretation. Maybe something like Arrival recently, where you're not given every single answer. Or a film,
but at least it connected to something that made sense, that gave you something that made you want to think about it. Wow, Tree of Life, I didn't care. Luckily, Malick did say recently that he wants to go back to more narrative type of filmmaking.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, and it's like, that's good. He's learning.
Because if he applies what is his art and his craft to something that maybe somebody else wrote, it'd be glorious. It'd be beautiful. Somebody's going to be like, oh, but he's not making movies for everyone. He's not making movies for the masses, or his movies aren't there to make money. Bullshit. You still have to sell this to a studio and put this in a theater.
He still puts his name in front of it saying a Terrence Malick film in the marketing for the picture. I'm starting to think he wants to get money because like he made an appearance at South by Southwest. It's like seeing Bigfoot. I
got to think he's laughing all the way to the bank because he's getting the bankroll to make these gorgeous, lovely films.
Yeah.
None of it's showing any returns to earn anything. So he's got to be the one laughing all the way to the bank. This is still a business first and an art convention second.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you start charging tickets and as soon as you start putting these films in the theaters and asking people to pay money to see them, this now becomes a business. This is not an art expo anymore.
Yep.
So if you want to make an art expo, go take your stuff to an art expo.
Yeah, go literally make a film and put it in an art expo.
For a guy like Malick, unfortunately, to have, like you said, to convince another theater to be like, hey, how about $40 more million for me to make my little poetry project?
Yeah.
The people who go for it, okay, fine. You might find some people who artistically agree with you, but man, don't expect my $9.
That's the end of the video.
I done well.